known each other for a long time. And, you know, when I first met Floyd, he lived in an apartment that Top Rank used to put a lot of their fighters in. Yeah. He lived in this apartment down on, I want to say it was off Flamingo. And, you know, he just started to make some money. Yeah. So, you know, I went over his house. He was showing me all the sweaters that he bought and all the things. You know, Floyd's always been that guy. Yeah. He likes to shop and he likes to buy clothes. And, you know, it started the minute he made his first dollar.
Right, right.
And the high-stakes world of combat sports is currently buzzing as UFC President Dana White recently decided to pull back the curtain on boxing legend Floyd "Money" Mayweather Jr. in a scathing critique that has since gone viral. White accused the undefeated champion of carefully curating a fraudulent luxury lifestyle online that bears little resemblance to his actual financial reality. During a candid and unfiltered interview, White didn't just nudge the narrative. He took a sledgehammer to Mayweather's social media image, specifically highlighting various disputed property claims and persistent nagging reports of unpaid debts. When the interviewer pushed for specifics regarding Mayweather's ultra-extravagant Instagram posts, the UFC boss was relentless, openly questioning whether the gold-plated image being broadcast to millions of followers is nothing more than a desperate digital facade.
Security guards.
Do you think Floyd is definitely done?
No, I don't know if he's done. I mean, he could probably come back and he'll have a boxing match. You know, I don't take away from what Floyd's accomplished in boxing, but he's stepping way over.
White went even further, emphasizing that he possesses the literal receipts and knows precisely how much capital Mayweather pocketed from the historic record-breaking crossover fight against Conor McGregor. According to White's logic, an individual who walked away with that level of generational fortune should never find themselves the subject of constant, recurring financial rumors or debt allegations. From White's perspective, the core issue isn't necessarily a lack of incoming cash flow. It is a chronic case of reckless, unchecked spending. The UFC promoter argued that Mayweather's lifestyle appears to be performative and unnecessarily extravagant to the point of absurdity, suggesting that a total lack of financial discipline could very easily plunge even the wealthiest athlete back into repeated stressful money trouble.
McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, which ironically is a boxing event, but it's the biggest combat sports fight ever.
What did that gross?
It did 4.4 or 4.5 million buys at $100 a buy.
Yeah.
To drive his point home, White drew a sharp, stinging comparison between Mayweather and several prominent UFC fighters who have earned only a small percentage of the boxers' astronomical purses. Despite having significantly lower career earnings, many of these mixed martial artists reportedly manage their bank accounts with extreme care, choosing to live modestly while aggressively growing their net worth through intelligent, diversified investments. White didn't stop there. He also directly challenged the long-standing, globally accepted claim that Mayweather is a member of the Billionaires Club. The UFC president stated flatly that he has seen more than enough behind-the-scenes evidence to cast serious doubt on that specific financial label, implying the Billionaire tag is more marketing than reality.
Ring with somebody you know well, somebody you have worked with, obviously, Floyd Mayweather. I have been dying to hear your perspective, your thoughts, what you actually think about this YouTuber fighting maybe the greatest boxer of all time, Floyd Mayweather.
Listen, I understand these kids want to make some money, and you know they do what they got to do and say what they got to say to try to get in there and make money.
White was humble enough to admit he doesn't have access to every single line item in Mayweather's private ledgers. He remained steadfast in his insistence that the boxer's billionaire public image is deeply misleading to the general public. If that elite financial status isn't actually backed by liquid assets, White argued, then Mayweather's obsessive spending habits, which include acquiring massive multi-million-dollar jewelry collections and making lavish, impulsive purchases, make even less sense from a survival standpoint. He also pointed back to a controversial past interview where Mayweather boasted about earning a staggering $300 million every single month. White dismissed these figures as completely unrealistic and mathematically impossible, asserting that only the most extremely naive people on the planet would believe numbers of that magnitude.
Nate Diaz apparently wants $20 million to fight next. Is he going to see $20 million?
My boy.
Yeah.
Hey, I never say never.
As the interview gained Momentum. The internet became a digital battleground for fans. One insightful commenter described Mayweather as a master of selective transparency, someone who is always eager to broadcast his massive gambling victories, but remains suspiciously silent about his crushing losses. The fan likened him to a high-stakes gambler who only posts the winning tickets, never the losing slips. They further speculated that the boxer's repeated retirement comebacks might be less about legacy and more about an urgent, pressing need for fresh liquidity. Another observer sided with White, noting that while Mayweather undoubtedly has some successful business ventures, he could simultaneously be bleeding cash through high-risk investments or just general careless lifestyle inflation. They concluded that there is simply no realistic economic scenario where a retired athlete is netting $300 million, even more blunt in their assessment, jokingly mocking the boxer by suggesting that as long as he can still afford to buy flashy trinkets and place seven-figure sports bets, he probably isn't bothering to check his actual bank balance. This commenter clarified that while Mayweather is undeniably a very wealthy man by normal standards, he might be far less financially literate than the money persona suggests. Meanwhile, another more measured observer offered a nuanced take on the situation. They suggested that even if Mayweather's paper net worth is technically very high, the vast majority of it might be trapped in illiquid assets rather than accessible cash. For instance, if he has hundreds of millions tied up in commercial real estate, it would be difficult for him to access that money quickly to settle sudden debts or cover a lavish lifestyle.
Common, and when a guy like Floyd Mayweather starts putting it on you, it's not even going to be a fight. It's going to be ridiculous.
The debate reached a fever pitch when Mayweather himself attempted to silence the doubters by sharing an image of a check online, claiming he had just paid a whopping $18 million in taxes to the United States government. However, instead of ending the speculation, the post backfired spectacularly and sparked an entirely new wave of controversy. Skeptics argued that the check looked suspicious, noting that certain standard banking details appeared to be missing or obscured. Others viewed the post as nothing more than another desperate attempt to flex his wealth in response to criticism. Interestingly, this tax revelation surfaced shortly after reports emerged that Mayweather had dropped more than $1.1 million just on luxury tickets and suites for the Super Bowl in Las Vegas.
YouTuber fighting maybe the greatest boxer of all time, Floyd Mayweather.
Listen, I understand these kids want to make some money, and they do what they got to do and say what they got to say to try to, get in there and make money. This is going to be such a one-sided, ridiculous ass whooping. It's not even going to be funny.
Super Bowl event took place at the state-of-the-art Allegiant Stadium, and Mayweather's plan involved hosting a massive entourage of guests. According to several reports, the former champion had actually been offered complimentary VIP access to attend the game as a celebrity guest, but he reportedly declined the freebie. Instead, he preferred to pay out of his own pocket for a massive high-end luxury suite, claiming that paying for the experience himself gave him absolute total control over who was allowed to join him and how the festivities were managed. In total, he claimed to have brought 34 people along to witness the NFL championship in his home city of Las Vegas, bringing the total invoice for the single afternoon of entertainment to a staggering $1.1 million purchase. Mayweather also doubled down on his claim regarding the massive IRS payment. He stated that before he even considered buying the Super Bowl suite, he had already satisfied an $18 million tax debt, a feat he pointed out was impressive considering he is technically a retired athlete, since officially hanging up the gloves. In 2015, the undefeated superstar has reportedly generated over $500 million through various exhibition matches and diversified business ventures. He frequently reminds the public that he owns a high-end gentleman's club in Las Vegas and has a footprint in international real estate. Mayweather has used these assets as proof that rumors of him being broke are malicious lies. Yet figures like the rapper and entrepreneur 50 Cent continue to poke holes in that specific narrative. Many who dismiss these financial accusations as nothing more than petty drama fueled by the decade-long bitter feud between Mayweather and 50 Cent. However, for a growing number of observers, certain specific events in the boxer's life have raised genuine legitimate questions. At one peak point, Forbes estimated Mayweather's total total net worth at approximately $700 million, and his legendary 2015 fight of the century with Manny Pacquiao reportedly saw him walk away with a $200 million payday alone. With career earnings totaling over $1 billion, it might seem logically impossible for money to ever become a concern. But as history has shown with many legendary athletes, a public image of infinite wealth can often hide a very different, much more complicated, private reality.
It's crazy stuff. I got so many different houses. So, as you guys can see, this is one of my closets. You know, we got bags, we got stuff everywhere. We got this ladder right here where you could take, you know, it's got stuff everywhere. So, you know, you wanna go red bottoms, we can go all.
From a purely strategic business perspective, Mayweather's 2017 decision to come out of retirement to face UFC star Conor McGregor was a stroke of genius that generated massive revenue. However, his subsequent moves left even his most loyal fans feeling confused and skeptical. When Mayweather suddenly announced he would be fighting a young Japanese kickboxing prodigy named Tenshin Nasukawa for a New Year's Eve exhibition in Japan, the boxing world reacted with collective bewilderment. The matchup seemed bizarrely beneath a legend of his stature, especially since the specific rules of the engagement weren't even finalized when the fight was first announced. This led to immediate whispers that the champion was simply looking for a quick, easy payday.
You can go all Christian Louboutin, that you guys want to do. Whatever you want to do, all from the bottom all the way to the top. So, we got any kind of bag and everything you can name. It's one of my closets.
Adding more fuel to the speculative fire, Mayweather appeared at the official Tokyo press conference without the usual Money Team heavyweights by his side, most notably missing his longtime business associate Leonard Ellerbe. Industry insiders also noted a glaring change in branding. The promotional backdrop for the event featured only Mayweather's personal TMT, the Money Team logo, noticeably lacking the logos of his typical promotional partners or his longtime broadcaster, Showtime. Perhaps most unusual of all was Mayweather's uncharacteristic silence regarding the size of the fight's purse. Usually the first to brag about his earnings, his refusal to discuss the numbers led many to wonder if he was taking the fight out of necessity rather than choice, seeking to generate immediate income to cover overhead.
I'm bringing the people into my lifestyle, showing the people how I live. Now, I know you guys see me on a regular talking about real estate. Well, lately, I purchased 62 apartment buildings in New York City. And what I need you guys to do, slide over and check out the photos. It's not all 62 buildings, it's a few buildings, but guess what? All the buildings belong to me. I don't have no partners. And all the retail down low on my buildings all belong to me.
On various social media platforms, critics began to wonder out loud if the undefeated champion was now chasing checks just to keep his massive financial engine running. Some pointed out the extreme burn rate of his lifestyle. Someone who spends tens of millions of dollars on high-end watches, rare supercars, and private jet maintenance must maintain a constant, torrential flow of incoming cash. Financial experts chimed in, noting that even a massive $300 million payday can vanish in a matter of years if it is being drained by excessive spending and high-maintenance assets. While no concrete proof of bankruptcy exists, the strange, erratic nature of his post-retirement fight announcements certainly fueled a massive wave of online speculation regarding his true liquidity.
You can do the same. It's all about making power moves.
Yeah, I think.
And I'm pointing like this because all of them, we're in New York City right now. We're in Manhattan. That's what we do.
Compounding. These rumors were real-world legal headaches that added significant weight to the broke narrative. A high-end jewelry retailer actually filed a formal lawsuit against Mayweather, alleging significant unpaid debts and a blatant breach of contract. The legal filings included specific claims regarding disputed transactions and questionable financial maneuvers involving members of the boxer's inner circle. For over 20 years, Mayweather has defined his public persona by two things: his unparalleled defensive boxing skills and his seemingly bottomless bank account. Having officially nicknamed himself Money, he spent years building a legendary reputation reputation for living a life of extreme excess, characterized by fleets of yachts, multiple private jets, and legendary shopping sprees that would last for hours.
Andre Durrell, IBF champion Billy Dip, WBA champion Celestino Calabero. You know, so we brought them over. I brought him over while Floyd was, still incarcerated.
Yeah.
Then he comes home. There's the Let's Get Floyd Back in Pocket campaign that goes on, where it's $300,000 chains being bought and buying the new Lamborghini and all these new things, and I'm sitting there.
All this money made. No partners. All by myself. Over 1,000 apartments. I'm just getting started.
The tension surrounding his finances reached a breaking point after Mayweather appeared as a guest on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. During the televised sit-down with host Jimmy Fallon, the boxer made an incredibly bold claim that he currently owns more than 100 buildings, asserting that almost all of them were located in the prime real estate market of New York City. This was a massive statement even for him, and it immediately set social media on fire. If true, it would make him one of the most significant private landlords in the most expensive city in the world. However, the sheer scale of the claim, owning 100 skyscrapers or apartment complexes, seemed far-fetched to those familiar with the New York property market.
When you gonna give me the money?
Because you're already invested.
Right, like when you gonna give me your half of the money back. But I ain't trying to press him because he just got out of jail, right? So it's like, let him cool his heels before you.
Was that in the millions?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you sitting there big, and I'm like, yo, so when, but see, the fighters are an asset in themselves. They are that talent, regardless. Right. So I'm looking at him going, so there ain't no pressure there, but I'm saying, when is he gonna say he wants to, to give me the other half of it? Why I gotta ask you for it?
This specific real estate claim did not sit well with his longtime rival 50 Cent, who wasted no time in launching a series of sarcastic, mocking posts on Instagram. The rapper ridiculed the idea that Mayweather owned such a vast and prestigious portfolio, essentially calling it a total fabrication, and joking about the boxer's actual level of understanding regarding his own complicated finances. In what particularly viral post, 50 Cent suggested that Mayweather probably doesn't even know which properties he actually controls and which ones he just has a minor stake in. The rapper also pointed out a logical flaw. If Mayweather truly owned that much property in New York, the local and state taxes alone would be devouring a huge chunk of his monthly income, making his untaxed lifestyle impossible.
Yeah.
This looked like a friendship that was gonna last a lifetime. What the hell happened between 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather?
Well, he changed his mind.
Now, what do you mean he changed his mind?
Like, as he was actually going in to jail, he asked me to help him with Mayweather promotions.
Right.
Then as he actually got in and I took a look, I realized there is no Mayweather promotions. There's no LLC, there's no seal, it's not incorporated, there's no.
Public feud escalated even further when 50 Cent shared a hilariously edited image of Mayweather depicted as Pinocchio with a long nose to imply he was lying about his real estate empire. While many fans initially dismissed these posts as just another childish chapter in their long-running celebrity beef, the narrative took a more serious turn when boxing insider Rick Glazer weighed in. Glazer, who is known for having deep connections within the industry, hinted that there might actually be some factual substance behind the whispers of Mayweather's financial struggles. When someone with Glazer's reputation starts nodding along to the rumors, people in the boxing community begin to take notice, wondering if the money brand is more about image than assets.